Hello and welcome to Oxygen Music's podcast Extra. I'm Rebeka, and today here with me is a worldwide known and loved artist from the music industry, Dr. Alban. Hi, welcome. I'm so happy to be able to welcome you here in our studio.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So when people visit Hungary, foreigners visit Hungary, they often compliment our architecture, delicious food, and some even say that the most beautiful women live here in Hungary. It's not your first time here in Hungary, and I know for a fact it won't be the last. What do you think of our country? Do you like it here?
Yeah, it's nice. It's beautiful. The Buddha side, and of course the Pest side, and the river dividing the Pest and the Buddha. It's a beautiful city, good girls, just as you mentioned, beautiful girls. And the goulash supper is also good.
Oh, you like it?
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning.
Yeah.
You were brought up in Nigeria, in Oguta, if I'm not mistaken. What was it like? How would you describe your childhood for somebody who hasn't been in Africa yet?
Well, I grew up in Oguta, that's in the southeast part of Nigeria. Nice place, beautiful place. That was the old Biafra, when there was a war between the Nigerians and the Biafrans many years back. Nice place to be, nice place to live, and growing up from there and then moving to Europe.
Do you think that the Civil War had a great influence on you?
Well, wars are not good. It doesn't matter who's right and who is wrong. But of course, that has influenced me, that war, definitely.
And what was it like growing up in such a big family? You have 9 siblings. I'm sure you were never bored. Someone was always there. What was it like?
Yeah, it's quite nice growing up in such a big family. And everyone, just as you said, someone was always there. Somebody's always there. And you got help in anything that you wanted to do. Anything you want to do, there's always somebody that is there to assist. So it was definitely good.
What values or principles did you get from your parents? What did they teach you? What was the most important?
The basic principles was that everyone has to be educated, and we all were educated, everybody, every single one of us. And maintaining love and peace, and going through all this education and then helping the other ones. That was the basic principles.
That's such a big gift to get from your parents. Do you remember as a child, what were your dream jobs? What did you want to become as a child?
Well, growing up in such a family where our parents wanted us to be educated, so that was it. We just have to choose what we wanted to do and become what we wanted to become. So that was the basic thing.
You were quite young when you moved to Sweden.
Yeah.
What was it like? I can only imagine how big a first shift it must have been, just looking at the weather, you know, from one extreme to the other. How could you adjust? Was it easy, or did you struggle a bit?
It was not easy. It was not easy, but I had to accomplish what I came to Sweden to do, so I had to adapt. It was the weather was colder. People were much colder. In Africa it was hot, and people were much warmer, so you just have to take it or leave it.
Did you like studying dentistry in Sweden?
Yes, I did, and studied, and I finished, and I worked for 1 year.
I read a lot about you, and in one interview you said that you actually started working at Alphabet Street to get some money to be able to actually continue learning. So then how did it become your profession?
Well, while I was working on Alphabet Street and making money to support the studies in the university, when I finished, I worked for 1 year, but at the same time, that DJing in Alphabet Street was also still at the background. And from that DJing, we made a track. And that track went very big, bigger than we ever thought. And that's where I am now.
But how did you start DJing?
Yeah, I was DJing in this Alphabet Street.
But how did that start? How did you go from a student to a DJ at Alphabet Street?
It was also a stroke of luck that a DJ never came. One day, the DJ that was supposed to play the music didn't come. So I was pushed to do the job, the DJ job, even though I was not a professional DJ.
And did you like it from the get-go, or you had to warm up to it?
I have to warm up and do the best I can. I wasn't the DJ. So the whole career started that a DJ never showed up.
Such a lucky coincidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who did you listen to when you were a teenager, for instance? Was there somebody who influenced you in a way?
A lot of American stuff did influence me, and some Nigerian stuff. I listened to Fela Kuti from Nigeria. I listened a lot to James Brown. I listened a lot to Diana Ross. I listened a lot to Whitney. I listened a lot to Michael Jackson. All the big 70s, Kool and the Gang, and all that.
Fela Kuti was quite social and politically minded, I would say.
He was, yes.
So did he have a great influence on you?
Yeah, he played everything he played. That everything was focused on politics, and he was behind the common man. He was behind the poor, and he was against corruption. That is all, even in Hungary today, there's a kind of corruption going on. Africa is full of corruption, and that's why the countries are not developing. So we need to get rid of corruption anywhere in the world. Corruption is very big.
So now that we are talking about Africa, let's talk about Hello Africa. That was your first single, and it became a huge hit.
Yeah.
How did you start that journey? What was your conception? How did it all start and then unfold?
Well, we decided to make music. We decided to make a track, and then being an African, I said, let's focus on Africa as the first single and the first album. And it was just simple.
What sort of help did Dennis Pop mean for you? You met in 1990, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was very good in the beats. He did the beats, and I did the lyrics and the melody.
So he only did the beats, and
Yes.
then all the other things were you?
Yes.
Amazing. And how did the lyrics came to you?
Just as I said earlier on, being an African and coming from Africa, I decided that the first thing I will ever write will be on Africa. And it was simple. It was just very natural.
Where did you shoot the video clip?
It was shot in Kenya.
Did you have everything put down and you talked about it and everything was scripted, or it was very coincidental?
Well, we sent the song and the idea to the video producer, who came out with the idea that we should be shooting in Kenya. So that was it. He decided and came with the script, and we looked at it. We found it okay.
And did you enjoy the creative work?
It was really nice. That video, I remember, it looked very nice.
And how was it after then? You had to work hard to become successful. So you produced this song. How did it go after that?
Well, after that went very big, which we didn't expect that much, that it was going to be that big. We continued with No Coke, and then It's My Life, Sing Hallelujah, and all of them. So we just continued.
Yeah, Hello Africa sold roughly 1 million copies worldwide. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And then came It's My Life. Is there a story behind it? What did your family think when you started working as an artist instead of a dentist?
Well, what could they say if it was successful? If it wasn't successful, it could have been. He became successful worldwide, and they had no choice than to accept it.
Were they worried about you?
Yeah, because sometimes people could be worried because they think that musicians are on drugs and alcohol. So people are worried when they hear that you are living a profession like dentistry to become a musician, when musicians, most of them are on drugs and alcohol.
When It's My Life came out, what did they think about the lyrics? Because they are speaking for themselves, let's just say.
Yeah, it got bigger than in Hell Africa, so the song spoke for itself.
Yeah, no coke was used in an anti-drugs campaign. What did it mean to you?
It means a lot to me because I think that most of the criminal stuff, most of the violence, most of the fussing and fighting, they are almost drug related. There's always drug behind all these criminal activities. So if we can reduce or eliminate drugs, I think we can eliminate the criminal stuff as well.
That's great. After a release of No Coke, you reached such success. You hit the top 10 charts worldwide. Do you think there was a gradual shift between you just being your, let's say, average self and then hitting fame, or did it happen overnight?
Well, with Hell Africa No Coke, the fame gradually grew, and of course there was a slight shock, but I could handle it because I wasn't taking any drugs. I wasn't on drugs. I was on alcohol. So that's one thing in the music business, that when you get this big shock, that you are from nothing, nowhere, to something very big, you tend to not to handle the success, and then you take on drugs or alcohol. So this is very, very common.
Was it mentally hard for you to wrap your head around it, or did you have a great support system?
Well, I knew what it is, and I knew that I was not going to take on drugs or alcohol to handle the fame. So I decided to work on it, and gradually grew together with the success.
What was your motivation when producing more and more songs? What kept you motivated?
Well, the success, when you get success, of course you try to do much better than you ever did before. That's one thing that will drive you to do more. And when you know that more people are listening, more people are enjoying it, and the sales are good and they are being played everywhere, you get motivated and you want to do more.
Your songs were used in many commercials as well. I think most people remember the Tampax commercial. So many people would say no to that, but you said yes, and it was so successful.
But it's the Tampax commercials in the UK was a successful one. Of course, he made the song went back to be top 10 again, and of course, Tampax is women's life. It's their life. It's not my life. I don't, as a man, I don't use Tampax, but as females do use Tampax. So is Tampax their life? That's how I saw it.
And they are still used in commercials, your songs.
Yeah.
Not so long ago, I heard a commercial for a furniture shop, I think. It's My House or something like that.
Yeah.
That was so good.
Yeah.
And nowadays, what do you find motivates you to keep going?
Well, that the songs have been listened to, and the kids, the new ones that were not even born, still listen to it, and they recognize you in the streets and everywhere. You imagine, these kids were not born when these songs were released, and it's because of internet, Spotify, internet and all that. So it motivates me and it keeps me going.
You have 2 daughters, right?
Yes, 2.
Do they listen to you as well? And what do they think if they do?
I don't think your daughters will always want to listen to something else than listen to their dad. Of course, they know the songs and they listen to it, but we don't talk so much about my stuff. They want to talk about something else.
Of course. Are they proud of you and what you have achieved?
I guess they are. I think so.
As a child, did you think that you would have a big family as well?
I think that living in Sweden, where people, the tradition in Sweden is 2-3 kids, not more. So I adapted to that. It's simple.
And do you still feel like they have each other? You're always there for each other.
Yeah.
You still have their backs.
I think that I kept the Swedish tradition rather than the African tradition, and I don't regret it, and I enjoy it. I think it's okay. It's good.
That's so nice to hear. Who do you listen to now? Is there somebody from the music industry now that you look up to or that you like to listen to?
No, I don't listen to anybody. I don't look up to. I just listen to what I hear that is good. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what it is.
You've done a single with Hathaway that was I Love the 90s. Mm-hmm. You proved that there are some fellow artists who you like, and you sort of mentioned them in the lyrics. So those people were in some way important to you?
Those, at least I worked with those artists on the 90s festivals, and I enjoyed these tracks. That's why I used them. That's why I mentioned them. So it's all about enjoying and being together and having a good relationship with those artists.
What do you think is your biggest success if we look at your whole lifespan?
The biggest success must be It's My Life. It's a big track.
What does it mean to you?
Well, it means a lot because even though we had Hell Africa No Coke, but It's My Life made a mark in the world, in music industry. It made really a mark. It made me got known to every part of the world more than what Hell Africa did. So it was a big step, big song, and something that I'm proud of.
You have so many concerts, you travel the world. How do you find time to wind down, to relax a little bit? And what do you do to recharge?
It is true what you said. Sometimes it's getting tired and boring to be flying in the planes and all these hotels. And now I try to take it easy, not to fly so much. I'm getting used to it, that I'm going down a little bit, not taking all the shows that I get. There's so many shows, but I have to choose now, and because I don't like the airports anymore, not unlike before.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Was there a time when your family started nagging you to maybe take a step back and just relax a little bit?
No, there's never been any time like that, really. It's not. Quite frankly, no. Not really.
You know, they say home is where the heart is. Where is your heart? Is it in Sweden? Is it in Nigeria, in Oguta?
I live in Sweden and I enjoy it, and it's fantastic, it's good, but I still believe that my heart is in Nigeria.
And you still continue to go back there? Maybe you have family there still?
Yes, I do.
And where are your brothers and sisters living now? You are scattered around the world?
We're scattered around the world, but most of them are in Nigeria.
And do you find time to reconnect and
Yes,
meet?
I do. I try once a year, every Christmas, and sometimes I might find myself there if something happens. But I do every Christmas. I try.
That's amazing. What do you think is in your future? What would you like to achieve still? What are your goals?
If it was easy, I think it's a very hard task, what I would want to achieve and what I would want to do. That would be peace and eradicating corruption, and that's impossible almost.
Are there more concerts coming?
Yeah, there are more concerts coming, and I choose them, and I try to do the best I can of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I'm so happy that we got to do this.
Yeah.
I'm so honored, really. My mum listened to you when she was a teenager, and then I listen to you now, and I'm pretty sure that my children will listen to you as well. I don't think there is a party where your songs aren't played. That is success in all caps.